Gonna talk about the tournament this weekend, or do we have time for last
Yeah,
weekend?
we'll talk about it at the end. We'll mention it at the end, like things that are coming up. All right, so we live there, Evan? All right, hey everybody, we are here for episode 7 of This Disc is Great with Steve and Nate. Steve, what do we have coming up this week?
This week we've
No,
got.
no, like what disc are we doing this
Oh,
week?
yeah, that's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
let's pick it up.
All right. Brand new Discraft disc, the Machete, just like the movie character or the legendary knife. We've got a really fun new disc from Discraft.
Cool. So we'll give some people some time to join. If you guys haven't already, check out our videos from last week at the GBO. We did a really cool warehouse tour. We met Bobby and Emac in that video. Check that out. A lot of cool stuff. You think we have a lot of frisbees here? They have like 100 times the amount of frisbees in that warehouse. Some really cool videos we did down there. We also picked up a lot of cool stuff that we're going to be giving away over the next couple of weeks. Some new discs, Latitude 64 mold, Latitude 64's overmold stuff, mini judges, and mini AMAC, well, not mini AMAC Truth yet. Those are coming, but I have Judge Juniors. They're junior discs, not mini discs. So those are going to be cool. Those will be up on the website soon. Steve, what you got on your head there?
The disc store has just gotten its new shipment of these really cool trucker hats. We've got red and black as the color op schemes, and then the designs vary from the disc store logo to the disc store with the basket behind. So we got disc golf, we got just regular disc store, but then, you know, I'd still wear this playing disc golf. I don't have to have the basket on. But they're nice and comfortable.
Yep.
So far. I have zero qualms about them.
They're going to go live on the website during this video. So if you want to get these new disc store hats, they're going to be up in the next 15-20 minutes. So check those out. At the GBO, we also did a lot of cool things. You guys might have seen this on on my Players Pack video. This is Dynamic Disc's new disc golf website called Chasing Chains. They wanted to put it out. They're going to put it out quarterly with just a lot of cool disc golf stories. There's one in here about Paige and Paige Pierce and how she's playing. Emac's talking about his course design stuff. They have an article in here about Nate and Val and their brewery they're trying to start, along with the beer that they brewed for the GBO called Slightly Headwind. A whole bunch of other just really cool disc golf stories. They're going to come out quarterly. They want to make it a little different than the PGA's magazine, because they have a monthly magazine, but it's all like tournament results from like 4 months ago and old stuff that most people don't care about. So they wanted it to be a little more just generally disc golf relevant. So this is the first issue, and we're going to give this away today along with the Machete. And this I got autographed by as many people as humanly possible at the GBO. So Paige Pierce is signed on the front. Eric McCabe's in there. Nico LaCastro on the back page. Jeremy Coling. I'm in here. I signed it. A couple of international players, Simon Lazat, a random guy from Finland that I met. The bartender from Radius is in here. All sorts of people. So a lot of cool autographs in here. Pretty sweet magazine. This is going to be given away to somebody who likes, comments, and shares this video. And the Machete is going to go to somebody who asks us a question about this video. So yeah, this is our normal, for those of you just joining us, this is episode 7 of This Disc is Great with Steve and Nate. Normally this is a Wednesday night at 5 show, but we had Facebook had some technical difficulties yesterday that kept us from going live. Evan, how we doing viewers-wise? You ready to get into it? All right. So, Steve, what disc do we have again?
The Discraft Machete. This is the Elite Z plastic. Have they come out with the other?
Not yet. They usually wait a couple of months.
This is the first run.
Yeah, this is a first run Machete. It came out about 3 weeks ago, right before the Texas tournaments and the GBO, because those are windy. And why? Well, I'll go ahead and give you the description from Discraft. Discraft says this is a low-profile disc built to slice through headwinds with unparalleled predictability. Use it with brute force to easily manage upwind shots, or more like a scalpel for on-demand placement precision on a hyzer or flex shot. A medium rim gives you more control and excellent hand feel. So this is a headwind disc. It's for windy tournaments or windy days, help you fight the wind. So there's no mystery why it came out when we have the string of Kansas, Texas tournaments. Steve, what are the numbers on the Machete?
The Machete, disc Discraft says it's a 2.2, but according to Innova or dynamic numbers, it's 11 speed, it's 4 glide, you got 0 high speed turn, and you got 4 fades. So this is fast. The rim doesn't necessarily feel that big for being an 11 speed. I find it very comfortable, but yeah, you got to get on it, and it's gonna fade on you. But you throw it into those big headwinds, it's really gonna fight that. It's the perfect disc for fighting those in those kind of conditions.
So if you're new to this is great for Steve and Nate. What we do is we take the disc out to a field and we throw it a bunch of times to get a feel for it. We video those throws so we can show you how it flies. So we've thrown this disc, we're going to give it away to somebody who asked us a question about it, and somebody else during the video will win the Chasing Chains magazine. Let's go ahead and go to the tape and see how this thing flies. Alright, so like we said, it's kind of a headwind disc. It's got similar numbers to like a Force or an Excalibur. So let's see how it does for us. Alright, so first throw here. This is me really trying to rip on it and get a big shot. So you can see it kind of came out of my hand with a little bit of anhyzer. Threw it really hard on that anhyzer line, got a little bit of turn out of it, but it really consistently faded out. And this is probably the farthest throw I think we had at 358. So normally, if you've seen, I max out around like 400, 420 with a lot of my discs. So this is a full rip, full power 358. So it's not going to be your max distance driver unless you're Simon, Ricky, Paul. But it's going to be a really reliable flex out shot. So you can get some distance with it, but it's going to fade out super consistently, super hard. You're not going to see a lot of skips in these videos, but that's because the grass here is super tall and super thick. So nothing is skipping out there. Normally I'd say you're going to get a pretty good flare skip out of this guy because of the wide rim and the angle it's going to come in on. So again, all of our distances are provided by UDisc, which is a really great disc golf app that you guys should check out. It's got a really cool measuring tool that we use for all of our videos. They hooked us up with some free accounts, so you should check them out and support them. Fully worth the membership. All right, Steve, let's see your first throw here.
I was really lacing into this one. I saw how Nate was throwing it just as overstable as can be. All I can tell you is it will always fade. That disc, I would say it doesn't want to fly almost, is the point where this disc is meant to be just overstable. I would definitely trust this in any kind of headwind. Even if it was going downhill or something, and you just see like a flurry going on, I would know this disc is going to fade. 324 for even ripping it as hard as I could. I was happy I even got that far. This disc is hard for me to throw. I don't throw 100% every time. So if you're looking for a disc that can fight a headwind, or you throw super hard and you need something that's not going to flip over, hey man, this might be it.
Yeah, and Steve's left-handed, so this is a pretty severe anhyzer angle for Steve. Steve likes to throw a lot of flip-up hyzers, and so this is a pretty ante for Steve, and it still comes back that hard. So this is one of those discs, it does one thing, but it does that one thing really, really well. So if you need something for a right-hand backhander that goes left, or you need to fight the wind, this will do it. It's very good at what it's supposed to do. All right, let's see a couple different kinds of shots. You guys always ask for that. This is my forehand shot. And you were talking about the release angle. This white line here is our release angle. That's almost 45 degrees out of my hand. That's like if I throw this with, say, a Wraith or even a Destroyer, this is probably going to turn and end up hitting the ground on a turn. So I threw this super, super hard angle. So it flipped over and turned over for me. But that, again, that's out of 45. Any disc is going to do that at 45. Like it was almost like it looked like it was going to hit the ground, and at the end it still flipped out and hyzered out and sat down really well. 280 on a flick is pretty good for me with an overstable disc. Like I'm maxing out around like 320 with my fast straight drivers, so 280 on a sidearm is pretty solid. So if you like throwing the ante sidearms, the flex sidearm shots, this is a great disc for it. It's really, really close to Discraft's Force, or it's like the flick is a pretty similar disc, but the flick's a lot flat topper. So it's like a not quite flat top flick. Great disc for sidearms. one more shot I think we have. This is a tomahawk overhand shot. This is my favorite. This is what I would use this disc for if I was going to bag it. I used to throw a lot of tomahawks before I jacked my shoulder up at the end of college. This flexes perfectly. So on a tomahawk, you're releasing it overhand a lot like a 12-6 curveball in baseball. So you're snapping it straight down. And so what I want it to do is to do one nice flip over and land on the edge. And the stability of this disc allows it to do that very predictably. It's probably, honestly, I used to throw a lot with the Excalibur, and this is probably even more controllable for me than that was, as far as knowing exactly what it's going to do. I used to throw tomahawks about 275 when I was throwing them every day, but I only throw them every so often now with my shoulder injury. So 240 is a pretty good distance for me on that, and I threw it pretty straight, exactly where I wanted it to go. I love this as a tomahawk disc.
All right, guys, let's talk about the giveaway and how they can enter.
Yeah. So, Steve, what are we giving away on today's video?
Today's video, we are giving away the Elite Z Machete by Discraft. It's a brand new disc. This is a first run. It's been out for maybe 3 weeks. This is an overstable driver. All you have to do is comment, say, hey, what's the numbers on the flight? What's your farthest throw with it? Do you think this would be good for me?
Yeah, this disc is so just to win the machete that we threw in the video, this is the one you just saw flying in the video. Ask us a question about it, and then we're also giving away the first edition of Chasing the Chains, a new magazine by Dynamic Disc that I got in Emporia last weekend. That's autographed by about 30 different people, anyone from some of the top pros to me, to the bartender at Radius, to the owners of Latitude 64 and Dynamic Discs. About 20 or 30 different signatures in here. So a pretty cool, sweet piece of memorabilia that we are giving away to somebody who comments on the video. All right, have we got any questions to answer?
We do have questions, and I'm going to go ahead and throw out the winner of the Chasing Chains, actually, magazine. This is Colin Nickel. What Innova disc is the machete most comparable to? So Colin, thanks for commenting. You're gonna go ahead and win that magazine. Message us on Facebook or email us at service@discstore.com. Colin Nickel. What Innova disc is the machete most comparable to?
Steve, what do you think?
Well, considering the machete is only one speed slower than the disc I'm thinking of, I'm gonna have to say the Excalibur for me, where it's fast, it doesn't have a whole lot of glide, and you know it's gonna fade out. So I would have to say the Excal.
Yeah, I think it's one of the Excal is one of the first discs I thought of. I would throw these discs for the same shots. The other thing it's really close to is the Innova Monster. So the Monster's 10.305. The Excal is 12.404. So it's pretty much like directly between those two. It's really close to both of them. You're going to use. I mean, these are all going to be used for the same kind of shots. I think the Excal might go a little farther, but they fly very similarly. Any other questions we got there, Evan?
Yes, we have a couple different questions here. Since you like it as a tomahawk, would it make a good roller? Kyle Forrest is asking that.
It kind of depends on how you throw your rollers. There's a couple different ways to do it. I probably wouldn't use it as a backhand roller because I like to use flippier things for that. But on a forehand roller, I do like throwing overstable discs so I can control them a little better on a forehand roller, so that I want it to finish right. So it would be something I'd use on a forehand roller, not necessarily a backhand roller. What do you think, Steve?
I think forehand roller is the way I would do it. I know I would have to do like some karate backflip kind of thing to throw the machete on a backhand roller, or I know it's like going uphill kind of thing, like be able to just figure out how to get it on a certain angle with an uphill slope. Other than that, I'd say you could definitely get it down on the ground with the forehand. It's worth a shot. If that's your game, I'd say there's no reason why not to try it. That's what the game's about, just trying out different things, figuring out what you can do, or figuring out how you can do something better.
I just don't throw a lot of rollers because there's too many things I can't control, like acorns and tree roots and molehills. So I like to keep things in my control, and I can miss trees better than I can miss rocks that I can't see.
All right, we have another question we've asked a few times. How does it compare to a criminal?
That's a good question. We were actually, that's going to be a disc we do in a couple of weeks. We threw this alongside the Fighter from Legacy, which we're going to, I think in 2 weeks we're going to do the Legacy and the Fighter and the Criminal together because they're really similar discs. I think this is just a touch straighter and a touch more glide than both of those discs. It's going to be very close, but how did you think it compared to the Fighter when we were throwing it?
I definitely got more distance with the Machete than I did the Fighter. I thought the Machete was more flat, and so that's why I kind of associated the Machete as more overstable, but I do think that the Fighter had a little more beef on it.
Yeah. I think we'll see when we get the videos out. I think we were throwing the Machete like 10 to 15 feet farther than the Fighter, and we haven't thrown the Criminal yet. It's on our list to do this week. So those are supposed to be pretty similar discs, and so yeah, I think this is just a touch less overstable. So we got like 10 to 15 feet farther with it.
David Lynch is asking, is it similar to an Innova Firebird?
Yes, but longer. Same kind of flight characteristics, but you're going to be able to throw it a little bit farther. Like when I was throwing a lot of Innova back in the day, I had an Excalibur and a Firebird in my bag. The Firebird was for like $250, the Excalibur was for like $350. And so this slot's closer to the Excalibur, same flight.
All right. Joey Stevens is asking, is it like an Escape? How does it compare to an Escape?
You throw an Escape, Steve?
I've yet to throw an Escape. I've heard they're pretty beefy though. What do you say?
Escapes, the Escape I throw when I'm wanting to lace tunnel shots on like wooded courses. So it's a pretty straight to slightly understable disc. So this is, so when we talk about stability, stable means dead straight. Understable means it goes to the right for a right-handed backhanded player. Overstable means it goes left. So the Escape is a pretty dead straight disc to slightly understable, so it goes slightly right. This is on the far overstable end. So it hooks hard left. If you can throw your Escape straight, this is going to go probably about 50 feet shorter and a hard left.
All right, Kyle Forrest is asking, any chance you guys will do technique videos, proper form to throw backhand, forehand, etc.? My son hates taking advice from me and his uncles, but he loves YouTube videos, so he could use some help.
That's something we've talked about. There are a lot of those out there by better players than us. So we're kind of trying to lock in what we're doing here, but it's something we've talked about doing in the future for sure. We'd like to do it. That's just even more time and more videoing and more editing that we might get to at some point in the future. I definitely think it's something we want to do. We're just not there yet.
Jason Matchett is asking, or he says, could really use the Machete and maybe a job. Joey Stevens, we're getting a lot of comparison questions, so if you guys are okay with that, I'll keep asking.
Sure.
Is it like an Enforcer?
I think the Enforcer is less stable than this. I've been trying to get on it with my flick, or I'm using it for big hyzer shots. I don't think the Machete will go as far as my Enforcer, just because it's trying to crash out. I'd like to compare them both in the headwind, but I'd say Machete takes the cake with overstability. But if you're starting to beat in a disc and just straight out of the box have something that's just gonna knife through, I think that would be a perfect example. The knife, yeah, just You saw those.
What plastic is your Enforcer in, Steve?
My Enforcer is in Fusion.
So that's the difference there. Lucid Enforcers fly really close to that. The Enforcer for me is almost identical to the Excalibur. So again, I think they are just a little bit less stable than the Machetes were, and you'll probably like we got 10 to 15 feet more out of the Machete than we did the Fighter. I think I would get 10 to 15 more feet out of the Excalibur or the Enforcer than I got the Machete. So they're really, really close. Like you probably don't need both of them in your bag, but one of them in your bag I think is really a really good idea.
All right.
Kind of like you don't need an Enforcer and a Criminal in your bag. They're going to do pretty much the same thing for you.
All right, so guys, we got a few more, and then we're going to go ahead and announce the winner. Brett Stone is asking again. Well, yeah, let's recap what we're giving away. What is this right here?
This is the first run Discraft Elite Z Machete. They're brand new, overstable control driver, super beefy. The numbers, which I'm sure people are asking, Discraft's number is 2.2, so that's pretty hard far left. And then the comparable Innova dynamic numbers are 11404.
All right. Another comment from Brett Stone. He's saying if you went with a lighter weight machete, a super lightweight, how would that affect the flight? And do you think would it be different?
You're definitely going to be able to get it up to that speed where it's going to be able to maintain its flight in the air. But you're going to be able to get it out, down the fairway, over a tree or something, to the point where the fade isn't going to be affecting it as early. So the lighter weight is allowing you to get on it a little more, add more speed, add more velocity, but you will still see that predictable fade right at the end, or it's going to predictably hold and that strong headwind. The weight is crucial when you're talking 10, 15, 20 grams, but if you're throwing 170 and max is 175, it's really not going to be that big of a difference. But if you were to get like, if Discraft had a blizzard plastic where you're talking 130, yeah, you might be able to turn this thing over for a bit and then it would eventually hyzer back.
So the reason weight makes a difference is lighter weights you are able to throw harder, and therefore they'll hold higher speeds for longer. So I threw a 150 flick, which has a really similar flight pattern to the Machete, a couple weeks ago, and I've thrown a flick a few times on flick lines, and they go like, 275, 250, and that's about it. Just like the Machete, I got 280 out of it. I threw a 150 gram flick, and I bombed that thing like 325, 350. I mashed that sucker. Like I threw it, and it held straight really long, and then still hyzered out at the end. So like on this line that we showed you earlier, when I turned it over, it kind of held that turnover and then crashed out. A lighter weight disc will hold that turnover a little bit longer before it crashes out. So you're going to get a little bit extra distance out of it with still getting that fade at the end. Now a more understable disc, again, you'll get more turn, and so you might not get to the fade. But sometimes if you're not the biggest arm, lighter weight discs would get you that extra 25, 50 feet, depending on the weights.
All right, guys. I think it's time to announce our winner of this machete. This is going to be someone who has been commenting and I think providing some great content for us to go over. So the winner of this Discraft Machete is Brett Stone.
Boom.
Brett Stone, congrats, man. You've won this Discraft Machete. Go ahead and message us on Facebook, or you can email us at service@discstore.com, and we will get that disc out to you right now. If you guys ask any questions, Steve and Nate will be able to go back and look through those and give you some of their best answers for some of that stuff. Looks like Machete's got a lot of people love asking questions about the comparisons, and people are interested with it. So
there's a lot of good comparisons. Discraft and Latitude tend to release a lot of discs that are really similar, and so like this does have a lot of good comparisons, like the Force, the Flick, the Enforcer, the Excal. It's one of those discs that you need. You need one of those in your bag. You need that overstable control driver, and this is a great option.
All right, you guys got anything else?
Next week, I think we're going to do an AVR3 Slammer comparison. We're going to start doing some more comparison videos because the last PDJ update, there were 24 new discs that we're gonna have to get to and review, not to mention the 6 or 10 that we already had in the queue. So we've got like 30 discs to get to, so we're gonna start doing a couple more that are 2 or 3, like 2 at a time, for things that are really similar. So AVR3 Slammer next week. If you guys are gonna be in Kansas City, me and Steve are gonna be at the City of Fountains tournament on Sunday. So come say hi, pick up a gift card. And then, Steve, what did we just talk about earlier? It's going to be on the website.
Yeah, at the end of this website, you'll be able to purchase either the red or black version of this hat and the black or red version of this hat. Brand new to our store. Nice trucker hat. It's got a Velcro back instead of snap back, so it's really, really adjustable. Really comfortable too. I gotta say, I'm gonna be taking one home with me today.
They're super sharp. I like them a lot.
All right, thanks guys for watching, and have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.